Welcome, everybody. This is a very special Watertown's Environmental Films and Art Festival. Two special guests.
Hi, I'm Mila. I'm a senior at Duke University. I am part of program 2, so I'm creating my own major, intersectional sustainability in the fashion industrial complex, which means I'm really just looking at how sustainability can be intersectional and then relating that all back into fashion and how the fashion industry works.
So I'm Marcela. I am a graphic designer, illustrator, designer, fashion designer. I have many disciplines that I work in. I curate. I also run a nonprofit, and I'm about to have a fashion show. Yeah, I'm just really interested in recycling and upcycling with fashion because there's so much waste and so many things that are out there that might have some ugly, like bad materials, but beautiful, fall and stuff that are getting thrown away or not appreciated, and you can kind of tweak them and make stuff and instead of making new stuff. So I also am into the sustainability of fashion.
Start with is just tell us a little bit about yourself. I'd love to know where you started, a little more about what you're doing now, what excites you, what you're passionate about, and then we can ask those follow-up questions.
So I am Latina. My mom is Colombian. I grew up in Chapel Hill. I was born in California, grew up in Chapel Hill, went to Colombia, came back to Chapel Hill, went to SCAD, went to Barcelona to start my career, graduating as an illustrator and graphic designer. And then I was freelance over there, open to galleries, started the curating aspect of art. And, while I was doing illustration and started sewing, that's when I started sewing. And it's interesting because I graduated with a graphic design, and my mom gave me a sewing machine for my graduation, and I'm like, great. And she's like, yeah, and so now go on to fashion. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do illustration, And now I'm like, well, it's also good, but it has been very good, but that would have helped me with so many things that I'm learning as I go. So my fashion is very dada kind of, like sometimes I'll even sit at the sewing machine and white's on and white will work. I just go, or what I have. There was a time that I had in Barcelona, the streets of Barcelona, you find so many things. And once I found like lots of thread. And so I just went at it with the thread I had, not thinking, it just worked with the way my designs are, so lots of, unravel, unfinished, no hems, like very, it's kind of additive process. It's very sculptural. It's more like a piece of art. Some of my clients, have them on their, in their living room instead of in their closets. So so I also teach at State fashion illustration. So we learn to do the fashion figure, and they then can tweak it to their own style. And but I work backwards, and now I'm going to do some of that for classes. Do the you sew, and then you take the pictures, and then you make the drawings, because it's all about how you feel in the creation and how it drapes and everything. So
yeah, I can jump right in. First, I would love to say I really like the no hems and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I actually finished a piece literally yesterday where I used those kinds of principles, and I like to call those living pieces, because when you work in them and live in them, they change.
yes.
Because they have that unfinished product, and I can even show you later on, but it's like as the hem unravels a little more, it's like living, it's moving, it's changing. And so I really identified with that as you were explaining it as an art piece.
It's an art piece. That's good. I like the living piece. One of the last things I did was the last show was at the gallery at Smelt, which is the gallery I curate in Pittsburgh. I did a fashion show inside it because it's an industrial building and it's just perfect. So I lined it, and like that was like curating a fashion show within the gallery, literally, right? So that was fun, and I like to. So I bounced back and all that, and I have a maternal grandmother's dress that's silk, and it's probably from Paris, from who knows when. And there are 2 layers of it. And it's just, you know, you put the one underneath that's kind of like the slip, but the top one is cut here and goes down like a cape. And you can actually grab it and put it on your arms or bring it over yourself. I mean, it's just incredible. And I inherited this, and it's like a relic, but it's like good material too. It's going to disintegrate. You know, you feel it, you feel how it goes. And then you run into like Lurex, like that doesn't, you know, that's terrible and it's going to ruin our soil. But instead of remaking it, we can use it with what we see. And why economizing? I think fashion, when you hear about the history of fashion, you realize like during war times, sometimes they like Levi's, they wouldn't put their little, you know, M in the back or little mountains in the back because it was too expensive. So to me, that when I heard that, I was like, why ever put something like that? You know, like the one thing I do that might be like fancying up something is my label that has like these 2 on the sides. It's in my nonprofit work, it's like health, sustainability, equality, culture all go together. And that's one. And so that's the same with, I think, arts. And I'm just artistic, I guess.
I was just gonna say that's the best kind of design. I feel like something that was really missing to me, I took an intensive design class in Italy, and something that was really missing was we were talking about like the market and how we can sell the clothes. And it's just kind of like we weren't being taught to be as creative as I was hoping to be. And so to hear you talk about that stream of consciousness, I feel like that's how we should design, you know? And I feel like as a student, like sometimes you're bound by the rules to school. As an adult, maybe you're bound by the rules of the market, but why? You know, like
Yeah.
you have these really unique ideas and someone's gonna buy them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely. I'm
Well,
super excited.
I never thought of mass production, actually. I haven't even, I don't want that to happen because your piece in itself is many pieces.
Mhm.
And then like it just seems wrong because also and then I just feel that. But then I know it's wrong. Like we have too much material out there that needs to be used again. Let's do this now before it's too late. Sustainability is so important, and I think that this town is blessed that way, how you see all those markets and everything. And yeah, I do also use other materials sometimes, but they're linked to that one silk dress, you know, like I like silk. Have you seen like those tablecloths that are embroidered, or you know, that are white, and you know, usually a grandma gets a stain on it and then doesn't want it and it ends up somewhere it's being sold. Especially here, you get to you know, go to these yard sales and get these beautiful things. Or in the streets of Barcelona, I was on the streets of Barcelona, grandma dies and they throw everything outside and you see these things and it's just so like real, you know, and they probably don't know where that cotton came from, but at least they got that cotton and gave it some love, like somehow, you know, they created something more beautiful. So yeah, it's amazing the 2 things, how they go. With my brother, we started Lifestyle Collective. The idea about this is to work on with what you love to do. You be work, like love your work. Your life is your work. Like it had, you know, that's how I work. Not many people are like that. Some people leave work at 5 and never go back, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just this is my artistic practice. And
Okay, and can you show us a couple of things that you are working
oh,
right
yeah,
there
yeah.
behind
So,
you?
yeah, totally. So this is like a dress that I scored at a thrift shop, and then I tweaked it with old t-shirts. And it's very playful, very playful. It you know, it changes. My mother didn't like that I was intervening on it. She loved the dress as it was, but so did I. It's just that I needed to get, you know, do something with this other stuff. So you got to tweak things. make them different. Let's see.
Real uplifting.
Yeah. And I love that all of your pieces are one of a kind.
Yes, one of a kind. So this is unlike an this was from what are the Hindu wear those, not sari, is it? Is it sari?
Yeah.
Yes, the sari, I'm sorry, I get them confused sometimes. So this was a sari that I cut up and then added the yellow silk, and see how it's all undone, like there's no hemming here. And this has been washed and everything, yeah. And my mom taught me how to do these tops, which are the best because you can wear them also, like this is a dress, right?
A skirt too.
Or a skirt, yeah. And it so rocks us both. And then this is, so in Carrboro, in Hillsborough, there's a hardware store that I've seen all my life and I love, and they're going broke. And I went in and I was like, oh my God, I don't need any of this at all. And I want to support them. And so I went in and I got these overalls that I put a little.
That's my kind of fashion.
See, there you
To
go.
work in the garden.
Yeah. But with this little thing, you'd be even
Cute.
better. And then the little hearts in the back.
Oh, so will you be modeling all of this at the show?
My son's friends and included him, like he's included. So I reached out to the neighborhood to tell them about the closure of the street. And I also put, like, if you want to sponsor or if you want to volunteer, get in touch with me. And a volunteer wrote, he's a neighbor, model, 6 foot, sent me his photo. I want to model for you. So he's going to be a host because he's older. And then my mom's tenant, hopefully Janet, will be modeling as well. We have a diverse group of kids. My son Leonardo is Latino a morir, and his friends are all Latino or Black, and so there'll be lots of diversity, which is something that has always been a part of my upbringing. My mother has always been very inclusive, and it's never, only in the States do I realize we have race. There's going to be some spray painting. It's a chalk spray paint to stencil on, which I've been asking for years, the bike lane on that road, because it's a massive curve. There's a whole trailer park of people that use it, walking and our community up here. I mean, I'm not saying not everybody, but it just seems so odd to not already put this, because so many people are using it for biking. So I'm going to do it myself, but it's chalk because I don't want to upset my town, because I know they'll cut my head off. So this is a collaboration with Melanie Wall, who did these t-shirts of Greta. And I had to support that cause because I think that this girl is like the best thing that's ever happened to us. So that's that. Oh, and it's a t-shirt that I make into a dress. And then I have the Ron Liberty. He's going to be back just with one piece of this Frankenstein, and those are done on their old sheets. So that's how we recycle that. And